Hey everybody, this is your prime and composite numbers video. Make sure you have your notes in front of you that look like what you see on the screen right now, and then name and date, of course, and then go ahead and write the word prime in the middle. We're going to start talking about prime numbers. We brought it up in class the other day, and some of you knew what prime numbers are. So let's get into it here. Prime numbers are numbers that have only two factors. So they can have only two factors, and those factors are 1 times itself. So as you're writing that down, remember that the word factor is a number that goes into another number. So 2 times 3 equals 6. The 2 is a factor, the 3 is a factor. Let's just show you real quick. 2 times 3 equals 6. The 2 and the 3 are factors. Okay? So let's give you some examples. So instead of going over here next, we're going to go down to the examples, give you an idea what prime numbers could be. 2 is a prime number. Now how come? What goes into 2? 1 times itself, right? So 1 times 2, that's it. How about 7? 7's prime because what goes into 7? 1 times 7. 11 is another example. Nothing goes into 11 except 1 times 11. And here's my last one. Number of the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. Nothing goes in there except 1 times 23. So there's some examples. There's many, 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 many more that you're going to have to work on here in a little bit. Prime numbers. So here's a question for you. Is 2 the only even prime number? So that's something I want you to think about. Feel free to hit pause and write an answer. Obviously it's yes or no, but you've got to be able to back it up. So give me a yes or no, and then how come? Is it? If it is, tell me why. If there's other ones, give me an example. Your next thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to list all the prime numbers that are under 20. So I'm telling you 20 is not a prime number. I want you to list all the prime numbers under 20 on these lines. So you can pause if you want, or you can come back to this as like a homework assignment. A non-example, this one's very important this time. 0 and 1 are not prime. Excuse me. They are not prime. 0 and 1 kind of always have their own rules. Think of multiplication. 0 times anything is 0, right? 1 times anything is itself. So those are the only two numbers that do that. They have their own rules anyway. They do not fit into the prime category. Some people think 9 is prime, but 3 times 3 goes into 9, right? So the 9 has more than 2 factors. And same with 27. People think, a lot of times kids get mixed up. They think 27 is prime. 9 times 3 goes into 27. Okay, if you flip your page, we are going to do composite. So some kids say that composite is kind of like the opposite of prime. It's sort of. We're gonna show you exactly what we're up to here. So first of all, make sure you can say that correctly. It is composite. Composite. Composite numbers have more than 2 factors. So they are whole numbers, greater than 1, more than 2 factors. So if I said to you 16, 16 is composite because think about what goes into 16. You could say 1 times 16. You could say 2 times 8. You could say 4 times 4. So 16 would have 6 factors. So composite are numbers that have more than 2 factors. Again, we're going down to the examples. 4, you could say 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. 100 has a whole bunch of factors. 10 times 10, 50 times 2, 25 times 4, 20 times 5, 50 times 2, 1 times 100. 100's got a whole bunch of factors. 16 we just did. And 24 has many factors also. 6 times 4, 8 times 3, 2 times 12, 1 times 24. Many factors for composite numbers. All right, so let's talk about some interesting things about them. Are all even numbers composite? So if I were you, I might flip back and forth from the same question or a similar question from the other side of the page for prime numbers. I asked you a very similar one. I would switch back and forth between those two and see if you can figure out what I'm looking for there. And you can pause the video to do that. And your other one is kind of the opposite of the question on the other side. This says list all the composite numbers under 20. So you're really going to list every number under 20, but which side does it go on? That's up to you to figure out. Composite numbers, non-examples, 0 and 1 aren't composite either. So it's very important to note that that 0 and 1 are not composite, and they're not prime either. So 0 and 1 are neither. They kind of have their own rules, like we said before. Is 31 composite? No, because the only factors of 31 are 1 times 31. That makes it prime. How about 29? Same idea. The only thing that will go into 29 is 1 times 29, making it composite. This is your prime and composite video. Make sure that you answer the facts and characteristics part on each side. I will be checking for that one.